Tuti and Paopao by Nika Tsitskishvili. Tuti lives so far from Earth that his sun lies beyond our field of vision. He is still very small, only 250 years old, yet he perks up his antennae with the diligence of an adult, catching every wave, even the most insignificant ones, with great attention. This year, for the first time, Mama entrusted Tuti with the sowing of the Paopao. His face lit up, and he joyfully transmitted a signal of consent. Then he inhaled his breakfast, slung a sack full of Paopao seeds over his shoulder, and headed toward the aerial lands. In his mind, he kept repeating that rhythmic wave he had accidentally captured the day before. When he crossed the threshold of maturity and traversed the desolate wilderness, the destination appeared on the horizon. He remembered Ma'ama's instructions well. One had to place a ladder against the aerial land, climb up and make a narrow hollow at the bottom, so narrow that the Paopao seed would get stuck inside, preventing gravity from pulling it down. One must place the seed, seal the hollow with soil, and repeat the same until 50 Paopao seeds were sown. Then settle comfortably upon your chosen aerial land and wait. The Paopao would surely grow downward and bear fruit, which would take about 8 years. Once the fruit filled the space from the bottom of the aerial land to the planet's surface, Tuti, like the others, was to gather the harvest in a basket and bring it to Mama. While Tuti, perched on the ladder, clung to the bottom of the aerial land and stuffed seeds into the crevices, his mind travelled into a distant future. In that future he stood before Mama, with a basket full of Paopao fruit, catching the waves of praise sent in his direction with antennae trembling from excitement. When he finished his work, he pulled the ladder up to the surface of the aerial land, settled in comfortably, and drifted into a deep, carefree sleep. For 8 years, Tuti dreamed of multifaceted waves. When he awoke, he peered over the edge of the aerial land and followed the descending stalks with his eyes. The plant's body was stretched tight like a string under the weight of the large Paopao fruit. With joy, Tuti reached the edge of the atmosphere, imagining once more how he would please Mama. Then he slid the ladder down to the surface and began harvesting the Paopao. When he took the harvest, he noticed that 1 extra Paopao had grown. Perhaps, lost in his dreams, he had made a mistake and sown an extra seed. He counted them a second time. There was definitely 1 too many. In Tuti's world, no one made such mistakes. It was unacceptable. Everything was prescribed and pre-calculated. Now a different scenario played out in Tuti's imagination of standing before Mama. He arrives with a basket loaded with Paopao. Mama counts the fruits, and his waves carry a tinge of fury. He counts again, and Tuti no longer knows where to hide from the shame. No, this is unacceptable. Ma'ama must not find out about this. He hid the extra Paopao on the aerial land, then filled the basket with the remaining Paopaos and presented them to Ma'ama as instructed. In return, he received a sweet wave and his favourite insect roll. When he was full for the first time after 8 years of hunger, his heart could not rest, and he returned to the aerial land to finally destroy the evidence. Tuti climbed the ladder and looked into the hiding place. He noticed that before his return, the Paopao had completely withered and dried up. Then he lit a bonfire and threw the dried Paopao into the flames. Now no one would ever know of his mistake, not even Mama. He had never seen such white smoke. The aerial land was completely covered, as if submerged in clouds. And it was then that Tuti heard for the first time those melodious waves that he had never even dreamed of, and which Mama so often enjoyed behind the backs of others. Tuti did not only reach the edge of the atmosphere, but went beyond it, and on a small planet in a distant galaxy, he glimpsed strange creatures, without antennae and without tentacles. Then a shiver ran through him, and his body became as light as the aerial land itself. The image overlaid upon his wide-open eyes slowly drifted away, becoming increasingly blurred. When the image flattened like a horizon line and became unreachable, he felt a heaviness, as if the universe had settled upon his eyelid, pressing down with all its weight. Then Tuti closed his eyes, and into his being poured a tranquillity known only to those who do not exist.